With the release of the open beta, it is a good time to be a Battlefield fan. We have not gotten a good release since the crews are running around, okay? Things are bright though, things are looking up because this game is awesome so far, but it has a lot of issues that people are kind of glossing over because of the hype, so let's talk about them. To start off, we need to talk about the map design. There is currently 3 maps in the beta. All 3 of them have vehicles. All 3 of them do not feel like vehicles were meant to be on the map. These maps are very, very detailed. There is a lot going on in them. There is a million different spaces people can squeeze into. There is a rich amount of gameplay to be had, right? There's no shortage of areas to have fights in. It's awesome, but it also means that when you're playing in a vehicle, okay, you can only basically drive up very small portions of the map, else you will instantaneously die. Okay, when you're playing as like an IFV, right, infantry fighting vehicle, or as a tank, specifically the infantry fighting vehicle, you need to play ultra passive, because both of the vehicles in the game, right, both the IFV and the tank that are present on every map do a ridiculous amount of damage and can pick up a lot of kills, but really more so the IFV can die extremely quickly, because while they do heal themselves and people can heal you pretty quick, you can die just as quickly because all of the mechanics running around, right? They all have 5 RPG shells, so it's very easy to die. If you decide to push out onto, like, you know, for example, the city street on the desert map, you are going to get absolutely hammered because there's so many windows people can sit in and there's not many places for you to actually go. You can go up the road on the left or up the road on the right, but that's kind of it. And it does not feel right. It feels like these maps were made for infantry only and vehicles were kind of just added as an afterthought, because on Battlefield 4, right, a lot of the maps felt like vehicles were, you know, part of the map's design, right? Because you can maneuver all over the map, right? It really feels like this map is made to have vehicles, especially since there's a lot of open space, right, for them to fight. These 3 maps, though, they feel extremely cramped. There isn't much for you to do in terms of vehicle gameplay. Like, you can choose to camp, or you could choose to camp, right? If you sit with your thumb up your ass, I mean, I'll throw a clip on screen right now, you just farm kills. You farm kills because the vehicles are so lethal, right? The IFV kills in a single hit. It's got a full auto, insta-kill, explosive machine gun, and then the tank might as well be a sniper because projectile speeds in this game are insane, absolutely insane. They are, I don't even know what the MS is, meters per second, right, compared to Battlefield 4, but shit is like a railgun, okay? The tank might as well be a sniper because you can sit at the back of the map and just pop, pick up kills over and over. And on top of that, I mean, the HMG on the top, like, of the actual tank is like a 3-shot kill, if not like, what, a 2-shot at close range. So overall, the tanks, you know, and the IFE included, they do a lot of damage, but you just die instantly with them. And so your really choices are to just sit at the back or to die. Like, you get one or the other, and there's not even many places to sit in the back, right? Because there's like very narrow spots you can actually navigate around. So the vehicle gameplay is, at least in this beta with these 3 maps, not good. It's like fun. It's definitely fun because it's fresh and it's new, but that's going to get stale pretty quickly. It was already getting stale for me after like so many hours of gameplay, like where I was playing the vehicles, really trying to get a feel for them, the ground ones. And it's like, oh man, you know, especially since you're fighting against a mirrored, you know, M1A2 Abrams and an AFE, which hopefully is going to be different in the main game, right? They're going to have some sort of vehicle for the other team, hopefully. But as it stands right now, yeah, the vehicle gameplay is not good. The maps, if I could rework them in some way, they need to open them up at least a little bit for vehicles, because like currently they feel very restricted and it's not engaging to play with them. Like, I don't like camping as a tank. I don't like camping as an AFV either, but I'm forced to when I die super quickly and there's so little room for me to navigate. It's just not interesting. The map design problem is further exacerbated on the rush game mode, right? Where you're trying to break through objectives. Trying to attack is miserable. It is not a fun experience. Trying to defend is also not the most fun experience. Everything feels so narrow and compact. And if you play a tank, which I'll put up on screen, you can essentially occupy an entire choke point and just sit there shooting at people because there's not a lot of space. And because of that, you know, if anybody's going to be shooting at you, they'll be coming from in front. So you just face in front and shoot over and over and over again. And it is not engaging to play against because obviously a tank is extremely hard to kill, right? But further, playing is boring. Like, that is extremely boring, just camping with a tank and shooting. But that's what happens when you design a map to essentially, you know, only have infantry gameplay. Like, it was kind of designed, it feels, with infantry gameplay only. Then when you play in a vehicle like a tank or like an AFV, right, you feel like constricted. You feel it's almost claustrophobic. Like, there's not much space, and if you try to like deviate outside of the roads even like a little bit, you're gonna fling up and around, and it's the gameplay with the physics, it just does not feel right. Like, you bang into anything and you go flying up on the air. We do need to talk about the vehicle on vehicle combat as well. It is not engaging at all. I don't know what happened, but it was definitely regression. I'm pretty sure that they're going to add something like this. I know because they added it to Battlefield 1, but if they don't, like, it's pretty alarming. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and I believe 2042, which I didn't play a whole bunch of, there was deflections, and there was weak points, and there was just various places on a tank that you could damage it for more or less damage, right? If you shoot at the tank at an angle, it's going to deflect off and do less damage. You shoot it head on, it will do a normal amount of damage, right? And then if you shoot it in a weak point, it will take increased damage. And you can also destroy certain parts of the tank. In this game, there is very, very rarely anything going on with increased damage. It seems like the only place that you can actually do more damage to a tank is if you shoot it in the butt, like directly in the butt. And then there is no deflections, and there is no really destroying certain parts of a tank or an AFE. At least I haven't noticed it, and I've played a ton of vehicles. I've played at least 8 hours of vehicles in my 20 hours on the game so far, and I have only had parts of me destroyed when I've taken critical damage, like I would get tracked or something. But in terms of, like, I don't know, like the turret on the top of the tank getting destroyed, right, the main gun being knocked out, it just doesn't seem to happen. And so what that means, not only are vehicles kind of dull to try and attack because you basically just shoot them in the front. Like, there's not even increased damage in the side, it's really just in the butt. So you just shoot directly at them until it dies, right? There's no targeting, there's nothing like that. And when you're fighting vehicle on vehicle, like, you're not aiming at like the cupola or at the gun or at the track, like, because nothing breaks. You just shoot at the tank until it dies. Like, you just shoot it head on, or maybe if you can shoot it in the butt, you try, but there's no real strategy. And if both tanks are being healed, this is the really dumb thing. You don't do anything to each other. It is stupid. It is stupid. Repairing is way too quick in this game. Like, way too quick. If you have a single person outside, vehicle and vehicle combat, it doesn't involve skill, right? There's no skill actually involved. You are shooting at the other person, they are shooting at you, there's no place to target weak points, and if you're being repaired, you will win. That is it. That is all there is to it, and that is not good. Like, this is an actual regression. We had better in the previous games, and they need to add deflections, they need to add some sort of weak points, they need to reduce repairing, and they need to change, ideally, the ammo capacity even, because you have, like, what, 20 shells to start out with? And the shells take so long to come back. Like, the gameplay is much faster than your shells regenerate. So it's either you are shooting until you're out of ammo and, you know, running all the way back and getting it through the ammo resupply, or you're just sitting there waiting for like 40 seconds or so to get, like, I don't know, like 1/4 of your ammo back, because it just takes so long. So ideally, reduce the amount of ammo that a tank can carry, but increase or I guess you could say decrease the amount of time it takes for shells to actually come back into the vehicle. So currently there is only one map that air vehicles are actually on, and the jet and the helicopter, I haven't played an insane amount on them, but they feel awful. Like, the map already does not feel good for the tank or for the AFV necessarily, right? The gameplay is just not very interesting. You can absolutely go crazy, right? I've gotten multiple 15-0 games just literally just sitting and farming. But like, the map is just, if you're having problems like with size for a land vehicle, for an air vehicle, like you use the jet and you use the helicopter can get some use. The controls, by the way, are terrible for the helicopter and for the jet. In my personal opinion, I was not a, helicopter jet god in Battlefield 4, but in this game, it just does not feel good, especially since it starts out inverted, because I don't know why, it just doesn't feel good. But even outside of that, like, there is not much space for you to work with, right? A lot of the Battlefield 4 maps were massive, right? A lot of them were huge, especially if there was helicopters involved. There was a lot of open space for fights to happen and for, vehicles like helicopters and jets to actually be able to utilize, right? Because like with the jet, you need enough space to do a strafing run. And with the helicopter, you need buildings to duck behind, right? Which there is some of on that map. You can kind of duck into like a river area, but generally it's just awkward. Like, it's very awkward and uncomfortable, and there's just so much cover. I could be completely off. Maybe there's somebody who's just loving, there's loving helicopters, loving the jets, but they don't feel good. They don't feel good. And if the maps are, a similar size to the one that we got with, the only map right now that jets and helicopters are on, then I don't think they're going to be very fun to play in this game. Like, honestly, like, I didn't feel a reason to play the helicopter or the jet over like the AFE or the tank if I was trying to, stab kills or do really good in a match, because like, why would I, right? Like, I'm putting in all that extra effort, and then on top of that, like, it's a lot more difficult because with the tank or an AFE, you're just camping around a corner and, getting healed up to max and just shooting and killing people. With the helicopter and the jet, you got to do a lot of work, ducking behind stuff, locking on, like, if there's multiple people who are trying to kill you with stingers, like, you can't just range them with like a tank or a jet, right? They're going to lock onto you with if you're within 500 meters. So generally, air gameplay for right now, not good, not fun, not like, okay? The actual map spawns as well are really, really bad, specifically on the, bush map with the apartments and all of that. That map is awful. If you get trapped in your spawn, you are gonna have a miserable time. I don't understand what they were thinking, but like, both spawns have 2 exits to them, only 2, and the objective for both of those spawns, for the first, the first objective closest to the spawns, is extremely close. So that essentially means that if one of the objectives is captured near your base and you start to lose points, right? Like, you're losing points outside of that main objective. Like, let's say you lose all the points on the map on one team or the other, which is rare, but it happened like once or twice. You are stuck in your spawn, and it is unfun trying to get out of there. And the worst part is, as you're capturing these objectives, you are dealing with a whole bunch of spawns from the objective itself, like, as you're neutralizing it, right? Because there's not a lot of space for the game to put people when you're capturing the objective, so it'll spawn them basically within view of you. Like, the spawns are completely screwed up. If you're like running near certain objectives, you're just going to die, because people are, as you're neutralizing it, they're just going to spawn next to you and just start shooting at you. It's really bad. It feels bad as well when you're on the opposite side, because yeah, quite a few times you're going to be running and somebody will spawn in the objective and they'll have, line of sight on you from the spawn and just kill you. But it also goes the opposite way. Maybe you're not looking as you spawn in, and boom, you're getting like domed right from the spawn area, right? The objectives just, I don't know what they can do. They just need to do something, because that is miserable. That is actually miserable from both sides, having to deal with like these actual 5 inches from the point spawns. Overall though, the beta is good. This is good, it's wonderful, but vehicle gameplay is a strong part of Battlefield games, and all of this needs to be addressed, because right now, infantry gameplay, amazing. Vehicle gameplay, terrible, really bad. So if these maps are a clear picture of what we're going to be getting for the full release, it is a cause for alarm, because vehicle gameplay is already not very good on the maps that we have present, and assuming that these maps are not to be reworked and the maps that we're going to be getting are like these, right? It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be enjoyable, and it needs changing. Vehicles just need a few overhauls, and ideally have some of the maps be reworked. If the maps aren't reworked, these overhauls, because the gameplay is just not super fun after more than a few hours. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video though. Like, subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Comment, let me know what you think of these changes. I'll be responding to every single one. If you have something to add on, maybe you disagree with me, let me know. I need to show you something. I need to show you something.
Forces are hitting Delta.
I have something to show you. Come look, it's the unmatched power of the sun. Come look, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful?